Welcome to episode 6 of the MidLegs podcast. I'm Carl Blalock. That's Maxton Brunke. And what a great week. 5-1 and some massive wins in a series sweep against Minnesota.
Yeah, it's more important for the vibes,
Yeah.
honestly. A couple really clutch moments, especially in game three at Minnesota. We talked about this last week too, that the weather was probably going to affect us a lot more than it would affect them, especially. And I didn't feel that. Obviously, we weren't on our best throughout the games, but to see great pieces of hitting from guys like Friedel, guys like Hayes, guys like um,
Hines.
uh, Hines, yeah, it's really important for this team, especially to get that under their belt. It felt like a very pivotal moment for this season. And then we took it into the Tampa series and we kept it rolling. Obviously the travel day game wasn't great. We seem to really suck on travel days, but I don't think I hate that. If we're going 5-1 every week, who cares? That's how
Yeah,
I feel.
exactly. The biggest thing is, and I felt this both for Saturday and Sunday's game against Minnesota, is it really felt like different. It felt different somehow because those aren't games that in the last few years, and truthfully, in our lifetimes, the Reds have won. They don't win those games where they
Yeah,
get
you make a
down
great point.
behind. They don't have comeback victories very often, especially one in the ninth after you get. And I mean, Sunday was almost completely different. We were getting carved up by a dude who didn't even have 90 miles an hour on his fastball.
Mm,
Like, you know, so but we figure it out late. TJ Friedel gets a big hit. Reese Hines gets a big hit. And the biggest thing is it rolled over into the Tampa series. Not quite to Wednesday because Nick Martinez just had our number. But you look especially on Tuesday where we hit 5 home runs. I think almost everybody in the lineup had a hit. It was beautiful.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I also felt like the defense looked pretty good at certain times. I'm still not 100% sure about Friedel, but um, I'm happy with the way that he has been improving from how shit he was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So I think it'll take time with him. I don't know how much more time I want to award him. Um,
And that's the thing that's a little bit of a conundrum, I think, with him is especially now that he's starting to hit the ball, you know, you want to have that bat in the lineup.
right.
But the issue is he is a liability in center field. I think Wednesday afternoon was a perfect example. Early in that game, the bases are loaded. We get a fly out to center field. It's shallow center field, and he can't even. He struggled to throw it to the cutoff man at Ellie at second base,
Yeah.
let alone have a play at the plate. Which, when you're in shallow center field, I feel like you have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get it in and at least force somewhat of a play. He could barely make it to the cutoff man at second base. Like, especially, and it's definitely gotten worse over the last few years, but you definitely, absolutely have to have somebody with a big arm in center field,
Mhm.
especially when you're playing games like this, to where because the bats have been so slow, defense matters a lot. And Friedel's a black hole out in center field right now.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. His arm strength is not there, and I don't know why it's not.
I mean, you have to help me out on which game this was this week,
I
but
was
there was also a play from Friedel where he dropped the ball on a diving catch and they didn't catch it. The umps didn't catch it. That counted as an out. Um, it's just the bailed things like that, and that I think there were two man on and on that play, which would have resulted in a run. So I'm really worried about his ability in center field. Is there a chance that he gets moved to left or right? Just to kind of take away all those deep left center balls and right center balls that he has to deal with.
maybe I could see where that is a possibility. I mean, we're seeing it to where he's getting platooned at the moment.
Mhm.
Dane Myers is, especially against left-handed hitters or left-handers, excuse me. We're seeing Dane Myers in center field more and more. I know Tuesday when we had that run explosion, he was in center field. He's in center field again today, this afternoon when we play the Tigers. So I think that we're kind of moving to more a platoon thing, and we've seen him move over a decent amount late in these games for defensive substitutions, where they would move Steer to first early in the season. They moved Steer to first base, Myers into center, and move Friedel over to left or right. We've seen that again, but I think we've started to see it to where it's just been a straight switch lately, or they put Benson in or something. Because I mean, you got to have that arm strength.
Yeah.
Everyone else in that outfield has very good arm strength except for Friedel.
Yeah.
And that's got to be something that gets figured out because, especially now that he's hitting again, that's the conundrum. It's easy to bench him when his bat's not producing. He's starting to get it figured out. He's had quite a few good hits. Same thing with Hines as well. Hines, not so much on the defensive side, but he's really put it together in the last few days, being able to, see the balls and hit the balls. He had another pretty good double in the Tampa series as well. That's big. If we can get Rhys Hines to where, and really the entirety of that lower part of the lineup to
Yep.
be able to start developing a little bit, and they don't have to make the hit every time, but at least batting 200, it's fine by me.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make as well. It's not just Rhys Hines; it is the whole bottom of that lineup that really needs to start producing. He had two RBIs in the Monday game. Am I right
Yeah, that
about that?
sounds right. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, two RBIs in the Monday game. He is still only hitting what 120 at the moment.
Well, I mean, he
Um,
didn't. He was like 1 for 60 before that Minnesota game.
true,
So
true.
once
He's only at 24 plate appearances too. So,
he gets it
um,
going.
yeah, yeah.
And the biggest
He's hitting
thing,
125 right now,
yeah,
which
the
isn't
big,
again with how he
yeah.
started. It's really not that bad.
Who I'm most excited about getting started in that lineup, and we talked about him last week. Key Brian Hayes is finally finding the holes.
He really is. He really is.
Like it
And
took long enough, but
he's had he's a great barrel on a lot of these balls. We talked about his expected batting average last week and how insanely different it is from his actual batting average. But what's he up to now? He's batting a .085, which in a vacuum sounds horrible, but is much higher than the .061. I think he
yeah.
was the lowest it got. Um, he's got a ton of ABs, but he got the barrel to a lot of these things, and now they're finally dropping. He might be coming back. That batting average is probably going to look bad for a while because of how much damage he's done to it at the beginning of the season. But I think we can look past it, focus on what he does coming up. But just to circle back real quick to Dane Myers, how about the hitting from him lately?
It's
I felt like he's not a gold star in center field to like really leap over TJ Friedel in that spot, but the hitting has been so good lately that I don't really feel like you can justify leaving him out of the lineup for much longer, especially if Friedel doesn't fully get it going soon.
well, and that's the thing as well is he's what second game of the season he had that walk off hit,
Hmm.
and he's just kept that confidence at the plate from there. I mean, he's not. I still don't love him leading off, but he is
Yeah, I
still a
don't
very
either.
solid bat. I don't think.
I think we should flip him and McLean. It just doesn't. To me, I feel like McLean's a much more reliable leadoff man, and then Dane in that two hole would complement him pretty well. But even then, I don't even know. Dane
I feel like
feels more like a six hole
yeah,
or
I like him
something.
more lower in the lineup, like a 6 or a 7 hitter,
Yeah.
because then you have, he's not shouldering the load necessarily. But the issue is we don't really have anybody else that can step up in the top of the lineup. That'd be,
No, not really.
who would be perfect for that if he could get more at bats and get rolling a little bit more. Will
No.
Benson, but
Mm.
we're not
It's
going to
true.
get that.
Honestly, move Dane down to like six and just move everybody up one. Elliott two, Sal at three, Gino in the cleanup.
I honestly, I disagree with that. I think you move Steer up to two. We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I like moving Steer up to two, and then you know everything else with that.
I'm very happy with how Spencer Steer is playing
Oh,
this year, by the
he's
way.
doing awesome.
Batting 221. He's got a handful of RBIs, 6 RBIs on the season. Um,
Quite a few
which looks,
homers.
yeah, quite a few homers. It looks so funny compared to Sal's stats because Sal is batting out of his mind. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with Steer. I could see that. I could see that him moving up. Do we have the lineup for today?
Yeah, the lineup's out. It's the same one that it was on Tuesday, which I think that
Gotcha.
I think that's fine. I
It's a
mean,
great
you look
move.
at I mean, when you look at how successful that lineup was on Tuesday, why not?
Right.
Why
Right.
not go for it still there?
Yeah, the bats were incredibly hot on Tuesday. Tuesday was the 12-6 game for those listening. And Chase Burns pitched and he looked fantastic. And then the second he got pulled, wow, he got shelled. Actually, no,
No, it
he
was
got
no,
homered
it
off of,
was
right?
no, and I'm disappointed in this because I'm sitting here waiting for the move, which still has not happened because for whatever reason, we just have not touched we haven't touched um our our bullpen. I feel like we got to rework the bullpen a little bit. I think Ryan Richardson has to come up. I really do. I think he
Yeah.
has to come up, and you have to. You have to get rid of Kyle Nicholas. Get him, send him to Louisville. Bring up Ryan Richardson. Ryan Richardson, by the way, has not given up a run so far this year. 13 innings pitched, not giving up a run.
Really?
Yeah, and again, I think that you bring him up. He's not going to be, a high stress reliever, but he's going to be like what Kyle Nicholas is, and he's going to be better than what Nicholas right now has a 9.95 ERA
Oh
with a
boy.
2.53 WHIP.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, and that's at 6 1/3 innings pitched. He is horrible.
Yeah, it's
Um,
brutal.
I mean, the good thing is the fact that he did, and why he's probably still on the thing, why he's still probably on the roster is because he had a solid game against Minnesota. He got a win, actually. He got a win in one of those Minnesota games. I believe it was the Saturday game.
Hmm?
He got a win there, and that was big because but the moment he was coming out there, I'm like, no, 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 because he's blown up against the Angels. He blew up against the Rays, although at the very least, but 10 walks in 6 1/3 innings.
Yeah.
And those walks, most of those walks have been in that Angels outing, and he had 5 walks on Tuesday. Um, you can't, yes, he had one good outing, but anytime he's brought up, Pirates fans are so glad that he's gone. And there's no
Uh-huh.
reason to keep him up there when you have somebody like Ryan Richardson down in the minor leagues tearing it up.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to make a 40-man roster move, but I feel like you can very easily DFA Nicholas. Somebody else
Mhm.
can pick him up. Maybe the Rockies, you know?
Right. When did we move Jose Franco down?
Uh, I want to say we did that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I want to say we did that about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
What was the
I
what
think that's
was
when we brought in Nicholas.
I see. That doesn't really make sense to me, to be so honest. I understand Nicholas is more of a closer type, but I mean, Jose wasn't playing bad.
He
I'm
got he
shocked
got
that that's the guy that they decided to move down. In fact, I've been looking for him for the last like week for to see him get some starts because, or not starts, see him get some pitches in because I thought he looked fine when he was out there at the beginning of the season.
he got shelled in that travel day Miami game, the 8-1
Mm.
loss back on the ninth, and so he hasn't
Well,
been up since.
clearly, it's not
So
his fault because
no,
that the travel days are just killing us.
I don't understand because it feels like it's every, especially midweek travel day, we just don't show up. And,
Yeah.
and that feels like a culture thing. And I don't understand why it is that way. And I look back and sometimes it's not as bad as sometimes it seems, but what it feels like every time we get some momentum, we lay an egg like what we did on Wednesday
Mm.
against the Rays. It
Yeah.
happened earlier in the year when we played against the Giants just last week. Same
Yeah.
thing happened. Like it you can't give up games like that, especially, when we look at the end of the season and what we're going to have to, work through in September, all the teams we've got to play to be able to make the playoffs. We got to have a good enough cushion. You can't give up a free game every weekday
Yeah.
like this.
Um, I will say Jose Franco has a 11.57 ERA. So in the minors.
Oof.
So maybe we can leave him down there for now.
I wonder what in the world happened there.
I don't know. He only has 7 innings pitched. Um, 9 runs, 9 ER. He gave up a home run. He walked 3, struck out 9. So I don't know. He seems to be all over the place. He's got a 2 WHIP. But moving on from him, I agree with you. The bullpen, I would love to touch it up a little bit more. Larry Richardson, when I was just looking through Jose Franco's stats, yeah, he looks fantastic. Um, he is absolutely killing it down in the lower levels. So to me, I think it could be time here. Let me read some stuff. I think it could be time to make some moves. Yeah, 13.1 innings pitched for Richardson. He has 0 ERA.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's pretty fantastic.
that's pretty
Um,
good.
and you know what? It's not like we're in a position where we have so many good guys that are playing well that we don't want to move any of them down. You could argue that the ages of some of these guys, you don't want to touch them and put them into minors, but I don't care about that. I care about
Again,
results right
it's
now.
it's where Kyle Nicholas can go. He can
Yeah,
very
I agree
easily go.
100%.
Send him
Yeah.
on down the river. Send him somewhere else.
I'm curious what his availability is. How many call ups and moves that he has left, but he's only 27, so he can't have that many. I think it's probably time, especially after that game. Um, again, he just didn't look, and on top of the fact that he didn't pitch very well, he didn't look good doing it
No,
either.
he did not.
So
Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about with our relievers, and I'll look at this right now and actually see how many appearances they have because I know as of Saturday they were around 80. And if you look right now, our relievers, what you got Phillips with 14, Ashcraft with 12. Let's do some math here. Um, Phillips with 14, Ashcraft with 12, Burke with 12, Pagan with 11, Mull with 11, Santillan with 11, Johnson with 12, Nicholas with 6, Bronco with 3, and PJ Higgins, I don't think counts.
yeah,
92 appearances between our relievers in what?
when did
24
PJ Higgins
games?
go in?
Um, 25 games? What? That's about 4 relievers a game. And I wanted to get your opinion on this because I remember looking at that and Cowboys sitting there. It was a Cowboy game on Saturday, and he was talking about it. And he's like, it's a good thing because it means the bullpen's rested because it's got 92 appearances. You're spreading it out. Nobody's been overused. I mean, what? I think the leader in appearances right now, you got Phillips with 14. Um, and he only has 16 innings pitched. So, like, it's not like we're overusing anybody per se.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like you got to get that figured out a little bit because we got to get some length out of our starters because I don't want to have, we could very easily have 100 appearances from our relievers by the end of the weekend in 1 month. That's too many.
Yeah. Yeah, and I this kind of goes back to the Miami game with the Burns outing when he looked fantastic through 5, excuse me, through 6, and then the 7th inning just kind of lost his control on his fastball and gave up his first run of the year to Jock Peterson, who had not had a hit yet that year. Before then, I was with you on the longevity thing, but maybe we just truly know that this is the length that we have out of these guys. I agree with the fact that I would like to see some of the other guys go a little longer. If Andrew Abbott can figure out what's wrong with his fastball, um, that would be a great. And then he could go a little bit longer, but I don't feel comfortable with Brandon Williamson going longer.
No. Well,
Brett
Brandon
Lauder could
Williamson
go an
has
extra inning and a half, probably.
walked way too many as well.
He's
I think
walked
that's
way too many.
that and I was watching it the telecast on Wednesday. The big thing is he's not finishing his pitches.
Yeah,
And that's why, there's not, and I think that that's the biggest thing when you look at the hitting, when you look at the starters, it's consistency. And especially for the hitters, you have to have that consistency to be able to help the pitchers be able to develop that consistency so they're not pitching on the edge the entire
yeah.
time. One thing I kind of disagree with Burns is on his last start on Tuesday. He looked solid, gave up 2 earned runs on a home run, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 4 hits, 5 2/3. Why not let him finish that? He was at 97 pitches. Give him one more at bat. Let him get it figured out because you're not going to be able to develop this longevity. Give him the quality start. It
I
was
agree.
a 10-2 ball game. It wasn't close. That's the opportunity to be able to, let him get that opportunity to be able to lengthen himself out and figure out how am I going to do this when I'm at 95 pitches. I disagreed with Tito when he pulled him there, and I understand, you don't want to overwork him again, but still, him going just over 100 pitches isn't going to hurt him, and I think it would help him in the long run to be able to be more efficient earlier in these games when he knows he has to be efficient to get out of an inning before he gets to 105, 110 pitches. I
Yeah.
I really wish we would have kept him in there on Tuesday.
You might make a really good point because here's the sequence of that bottom 6 where he was pulled, right? Caminaris singled to center, and then Arenado drove him home. It's a 9-2 ball game, right? Then he gets a ground out, and then he strikes out DeLuca,
Mm-hmm.
and then they pulled Burns. That to me doesn't really make sense. Why not? I understand you probably had the wrong side. Who was up next? Velade was up next. So you had the wrong side. I understand. I don't
And he's
really.
almost at 100 pitches, but still.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get into the 7th. If he, I don't know. We don't know necessarily what these guys' pitch counts are either. In the organization when they prefer to be pulled. So maybe that's his number. But to me, I would like to see him get into the 7th, and then if he needs to be relieved in the 7th, then that's fine. But we say that way we save a bullpen guy. By the way, Vlade still doubled. So like
Yeah.
you pull Burns, you still don't get the result that you want, which is disappointing. Yeah, it was strike looking ball double on a sinker well inside the zone. Just I don't know. I'd like to see it. Sam Moll on the mound as well there. So and he's
It's
not that bad, but
the
I
biggest
would like
thing
to see
is
it.
you got to strive for quality starts.
Mm.
That's what you need out of these players. You give us less than 3 or less earned runs, 6 innings of work. That's fine because we have the 3 people that we could throw out in the bullpen. Plus, we saw in a few of those games where we've had other people step up. We had a game where it was Maul, Phillips, and Burke, or Maul, Phillips, and Ashcraft, or Maul, Phillips, and Sanyon. We've been
Yeah.
able to mix it up enough to where we had these games. I think it was the San Francisco series where they got over, or no, it was the Rangers series where we used we used our big 3 the 2 nights before. We brought in the backup 3 and they did a good job.
Yeah.
If we can get 6 innings and 7, 8, and 9 is just covered by the bullpen, we'll be fine. But that's the
Yeah.
key is we can't get past the 6th inning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also well concerned about that in a longevity um kind of sense. But for now, I don't think it's our biggest issue.
No.
So I'm okay with that. I do think our biggest issue, who we talk about every week now, is Emilio Pagan. There's something wrong with this guy's control because he leaves everything well inside and then he gets shelled. Well inside, shelled. And this is our closer, by the way, the guy that we need to save games. I just want to pull up his, I believe it was the Sunday Twins game. That
Yeah.
he that we rallied. Got Friedel to drive in what,
Three.
three,
Yep.
down two,
You had a
to
4-3
take the
lead.
lead 4-3, and he goes into the freaking game and he gives it up immediately. I'm trying to find what his
It was, I think it was a triple to the 9-hole hitter.
I believe so. It was Outman doubled to right, Buxton popped out at first, and then Martin doubled to left. Outman scored.
Yeah.
And that is the tying run there. But I feel like this is every time he's out there at this point.
He still has 6 saves. That's the thing. Is
What?
it
Does he really?
He has 6 saves. Well, think about how many one-run games we've been in.
I
He
guess you're
has
right.
11 appearances. I think he has probably 2 blown saves and 6 saves. He's
Yeah,
not perfect on his save attempts, but he's doing fine.
he
I
does
think
have six
the
saves.
biggest thing is with Pagan is he's not your traditional closer. He's not gonna be the guy who he never in his career has he been, the traditional closer with it. It was such a surprise that he developed into that role last year. And so I don't think I think I'm fine to where we don't have necessarily a defined closer, and we can split those reps between Sanyon and Pagan, depending on who's hotter at the moment. I think because that's the thing with Pagan. He's not that traditional closer.
Mhm.
Most of those traditional closers, they have that really, they've got that fastball. He doesn't have that. And so
No.
you know what, I'm fine with how he's doing so far. I would like him to be a little bit more stable, but we also have other people we could put out there if we need to. Heck,
Yeah.
we can go put out Graham Ashcraft and it's like 62% whiff rate on that breaking pitch.
Or Burke.
Or Burke, we've thrown these guys out there. What? We've got 5 guys right now that has a save. Phillips has a save, Ashcraft has a save, Burke has a save, Sandion has a save, and then obviously Pagan's got 6. So I'm not worried about
Yeah.
it necessarily. It's something to keep an eye on, but again, we can reshuffle if we need to. We
Yeah.
have the arms. This isn't like in years past to where, if Amir Garrett wasn't the closer, we're screwed.
Right.
we got we got the arms. I'm not super concerned with it. We'll get it figured out.
What a fun
Um,
position for us to be in too, because man, how many years did we not have the arms and we were shit out of luck trying to
well,
figure out what to do with the bullpen?
we also got to remember Brian Price had no clue how to manage a bullpen.
No,
None.
he had no idea
None.
whatsoever.
Every single year, we'd be all right through May, and then our bullpen would fall off the face of the earth because he ran him into the ground.
Hmm.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I hate that guy. But speaking of old Reds that are having a homecoming, thank goodness it's not Brian Price. They've got Hall of Fame weekend this weekend, and Brandon Phillips is going to sign a 1-day contract and retire as a Red.
My favorite red of all time, and it's not even particularly close. Back when I watched baseball, because not because I understood the game and I loved the game, but more because I was a Reds fan and I was doing it out of duty with my father.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Phillips made those games entertaining, man. The diving catches, the strong arm. He was so fun. It's really like it's gonna be emotional. I'm very excited. I again I love the guy. He deserves it as well. I'm particularly happy. We knew that he was going into the Reds Hall of Fame. We've known this for a while. I did not know that they were going to sign him on a 1 day and then do it that way so he could
Oh yeah,
retire as a Red. I think that is awesome. Well deserved. I love the guy. I can't wait to see it.
I can't
What
believe
day
it's
is
been.
that? I apologize.
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. I don't know. I think so. I know normally they televise it on on the pregame on the channel before, but because the game got picked up by Fox, I'm not sure. I know locally in Cincinnati it's going to be on Fox 19, but I
Well, you
don't.
can still watch on MLB TV.
I don't know.
I've got, but it has both listed on for me,
Hmm.
Fox and MLB TV. So I'm guessing they'll do a little bit more of an extended coverage on
I
MLB
well,
TV.
I wonder. I wonder how that's gonna. I hope I'll be able to watch it somehow because I really would enjoy to be able to see that ceremony and
Yeah,
but I don't know exactly how they're doing that with it.
yeah,
But it's gonna be awesome.
yeah.
And I can't wait. It's crazy to think that it's been 10 years since Brandon Phillips was patrolling the middle of the infield.
Hmm.
Like that doesn't feel right.
Wow,
Um,
isn't that crazy?
2015, over 10 years.
Yeah.
That's I mean, you talk to anybody our age in Ohio who played baseball and was good. Not me. I was
Mhm.
out in right field. But anybody our buddy Aiden, oh my goodness. His favorite player, Brandon Phillips. You want to know where he played? Second base.
I also played second base, so
I yeah.
maybe it's a trend.
Yeah, I wasn't good enough to play. I sat out in the outfield. I couldn't see.
I probably had like a .01 batting average, but
I
I was amazing defensively, so you couldn't take me out of the lineup.
Yeah, no, I was right field. Everybody got the bat, so I got the bat. I got plunked a good amount, and then well, part of the issue was it was age based, not grade based, and I was the cutoff for grades is like September 30th, and the cutoff for age was like July, and so I always was a year behind, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a year behind. I also got annoyed that they didn't keep score and they didn't have scoreboards. So,
They didn't keep score for you?
well, not in Wildcat. Like I'm in like T-ball in like first grade, and I'm like, I
Oh,
don't want to do
sure,
this because they
sure.
don't keep score. They don't have the scoreboard on.
I
I need a
see.
scoreboard. So I did it when the scoreboard, and I was way behind, and I also just couldn't see.
I played through from middle school. And the people here in Columbus took it so seriously.
Yeah,
So seriously.
well, that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Uh, well, I think we covered everything that we wanted to
Let's talk
today.
about this week's games
Oh yeah,
real
so
quick.
we got Detroit 3 game set. Pretty important. Tigers, they're figuring it out a little bit. I do think we missed Scooble.
We do miss Scooble
So
from what I am seeing. We'll
that's big.
see. Valdez, Flaherty, and Montero.
I mean, Framber Valdez, well, he's on my fantasy team. If you've joined us the last few weeks, you'll know that's the kiss of death. So hopefully he'll be not as good as normal, as much as that will hurt my fantasy team. And then, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be able to get that. And then we got Colorado on Tuesday through Thursday, which will be a good opportunity to be able to run through that. And I think again the key is the bats got started against Minnesota. They got started, continued against Tampa. Let's keep it rolling. Let's
Yeah.
keep it going now that we got them hot. Keep them rolling against Detroit and especially against Colorado, which have never had good pitching. So
No. Yeah. And then just to look a little bit farther ahead, we'll have two division games, two division series after Colorado with going to Pittsburgh, and then by the way, at Cubs 4 game series, the week of May 4th. They're on a 9 game win streak right now.
really,
They are indeed. I know.
wow.
I caught it while I was looking at some other stats today, and I was like, "Is that true?" It is true. They are very much on a 9 game win streak at the
Yeah,
moment.
that makes I saw they had to go to extras yesterday against the Phillies. I caught that
Yeah.
in the corner of the restaurant I was eating at. So I
I mean,
mean
don't
that
get me
was
wrong. 6 of those wins are against the Phillies team that are struggling, and the other 3 are against the Mets. who are
Okay, so
struggling.
that doesn't count then.
But it's 9 in a row. It's still pretty
It's nine in
impressive.
a row, but it's against the Mets who can't get out of their own way and the Phillies who also can't get out of their own way.
The Mets are gonna figure it out eventually.
I,
Jose's
for
or
Frank the Tank's sanity, I hope so.
seriously.
I don't know how many more times his apartment can take a baseball bat to it.
Yeah. Seriously. Good Lord.
But yeah, that'll wrap up episode 6 of the MidLegs podcast. Make sure to follow Maxton on TikTok and Twitter. Follow me on TikTok, Maxton FC for Maxton, Blalock Media for myself. And we hope to see you next week on the MidLegs podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you follow us.